Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into another edition of the Pro Football Chase YouTube channel. I'm Isaac Signs, and I appreciate you joining and listening to some of my fantasy football content. I got another week for you. It's week 7. Tomorrow, things start off with Thursday Night Football. Looking forward to another good week of some football. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, quarterback. So, these are my stardoms for you. How about Andy Dalton at Kansas City? Now, Andy Dalton, as I've mentioned time and time again, he's playing very well. This game got bumped up to the prime time slot, so I think it's going to be a little more added anticipation with his performance against Kansas City. Yes, the Chiefs have looked a little bit more improved on defense. However, that secondary isn't quite where it needs to be just yet. Dalton should have plenty of opportunities to take advantage of that. AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, and as well as having a sustainable run game with Joe Mixon should help his cause. And then I'm going to go right to the other team in this same matchup, Patrick Mahomes against Cincinnati. I could see why you could be a little concerned going on the road in a hostile environment there in Cincinnati with a good front seven that's bolstered with Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap. However, I understand the length that Cincinnati has, William Jackson and Drake Kirkpatrick, but I think this Chiefs offense, they've proven each week that they can move the ball efficiently regardless of who is lined up opposite of them. So go ahead and roll with the young gunslinger. And now I'm going to roll with Baker Mayfield again. He's on the road to Tampa Bay. I know the Bucs, they have an athletic pair of linebackers in Levante David and Quan Alexander, so that does help their pass defense just a bit. Brent Grimes is out there, but Baker Mayfield, he continues to improve. He's learning how to make his reads down the middle of the field. David Njoku, he's developing some good chemistry with him as well. And as long as you got Jarvis Landry out there, you know there's a good chance that Mayfield's going to find him in the end zone. And one more for you. This one's a little bit more of a sleeper, but what about Mitchell Trubisky against the New England Patriots? Trubisky's been on and off. I understand that Matt Nagy and this Bears offense, Mark Helfrich, they're trying to work with them, insert a little bit more of that West Coast offense to make him feel a little more comfortable. And we've seen it at times. He's put up a 6-touchdown game before, but going up against New England, you got to understand that secondary is still a little unsustainable. I know they have McCourty, who's a ball hawk. They got Stephon Gilmore. But because of the versatility this offense brings with what Tariq Cohen can offer in the pass game, Jordan Howard, Allen Robinson, and then the hybrid Trey Burton. So he may be worth a look if you're in a deeper league. Now moving down to the running backs, I'll go a little quicker here. Kerryon Johnson at Miami. The Dolphins, I really don't know what to make of them up to this point. They had that hot start, but they've tailed off a little bit, and mainly due to injuries there. But Johnson, coming off that bye week, he should be fully healthy. And Matt Patricia looks like he's going to roll with his rookie to lead that backfield. So keep an eye on him. LaShawn McCoy at Indianapolis, there's been a lot of trade speculation about him potentially going back to Philly. But as long as he's in Buffalo, you know he's going to be a key focal point of that offense. Indianapolis, young defense. He should have some success as well. Of course, Saquon Barkley at Atlanta. We all know the injury-depleted unit Atlanta is dealing with. It's unfortunate to see so many key players out right now. Deion Jones was gone. Keanu Neal was lost earlier this season. Barkley right now does it in both the run and the pass game. Eli Manning relies on him a lot, as well as this Giants offense. You can expect another good workload from him. Now, receivers, stardom. I know this one's a little bit of a risky start, but I have a feeling that he's going to start to get things going again. How about Mike Williams for the Los Angeles Chargers? He's a big, dominant red zone threat for Phillip Rivers. He's been non-existent in some games, but while Tennessee does offer their share of difficult corners and secondary pieces, but you look at who they got. Malcolm Butler has been very inconsistent, and Logan Ryan as well. But Mike Williams, you gotta like his upside in the red zone, and for that reason, I'd roll with him. Mike Evans against Cleveland, the Browns, they're without, they lost Mitchell several weeks ago, and so I know they got Jabril Peppers. They're working in that new line with Greg Williams. By the way, that Browns defensive front is really good. Myles Garrett, the list goes on, but I don't think that's going to stop Mike Evans from producing high numbers, especially because he and Jameis Winston, they have a strong bond there, and you can just count on Mike Evans producing for you. Now, here's another one. Kenny Golladay at Miami. I've been high on Golladay for the entire fantasy season because he is really emerging into a viable target for Matthew Stafford and this Lions offense. And going up against Miami, I know Xavier Howard, who's been very good this year, will likely see Marvin Jones and then Golden Tate in the slot, which is going to give Golladay plenty of looks as he's seen all year up to this point. Look for him to have a big game against Miami, especially if Stafford is having to go to the air frequently in this one. Now go to tight ends. How about O.J. Howard? He's that 1-2 combo punch there with Cameron Brate, but O.J. Howard is still a dynamic, athletic tight end. He dealt with that MCL sprain, but now it looks like he's a full go. Why don't you go ahead and roll him out as one of those boom or bust potential candidates? I like Howard's chances against Cleveland, especially if this Browns front seven makes it difficult for Tampa to get that ground game going. How about Travis Kelce? This one kind of goes hand in hand of what I spoke about on Patrick Mahomes and his chances. Go ahead and roll with Kelce. Zach Ertz against Carolina. I know Carolina is a little bit of a scary matchup for opposing tight ends. They've been good because of that solid linebacking core they have of Thomas Davis, Shaq Thompson, and Luke Kuechly. But I think Ertz is at that level where he is going to get some success regardless of who he's playing. You got to roll with him. He's too talented of a player to leave on your bench. Now some defenses for you. This one's going to seem pretty obvious. The Los Angeles Rams going up against the 49ers and C.J. Beathard. While the Niners haven't looked all too bad, you got to like the Rams' chances to go play their in-state rival. Go put together a dominant performance. As long as Donald and Sue are in that lineup, anything is possible for them. So roll with them. And then another one I have is Arizona against Case Keenum and the Denver Broncos. Arizona, they haven't done a whole lot of winning. We know that. But this defense is starting to come together under Al Holcomb. They have some nice pieces. Chandler Jones, who's a consistent force, getting pressure. Trey Boston, who has himself some pretty good games as well. And Patrick Peterson, one of the top lockdown corners in the game. So keep in mind those two defenses to plug and play. Now really quick, some sit-ems before I end today's episode. Marcus Mariota at the Los Angeles Chargers. That'll be a difficult one. Casey Hayward. You got the rookie Derwin James, who's playing really well. Cam Newton at Philadelphia. I know Philly, their secondary's been a little shaky, but that front seven, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Michael Bennett, that's a strong rotation. Something in me just tells me they're going to be able to get to Cam Newton and take away that run game, which he thrives on so often. Now, some running backs here. Royce Freeman at Arizona. I just mentioned Arizona's defense as a streaming play option. I would leave Royce Freeman on the bench for this week. Arizona has a pretty good stout front seven, so that could hinder his success. Christian McCaffrey at Philadelphia. We know the Eagles' defensive front, I just talked about them. They're very stingy against the run, and while McCaffrey does offer some upside because he can be a factor in the pass game, I still wouldn't trust him. If you have other options with better matchups, you may want to turn to that. But I understand it can be difficult to leave a player with such high upside on the bench. But I'm just telling you, be warned that he may be a snub this coming weekend. Now, some receivers, Marvin Jones at Miami. Just as I said, he's probably going to see Xavier Howard, who's been tremendous against #1 wideouts. DeAndre Hopkins at Jacksonville. He's going to see Jalen Ramsey, A.J. Boye. You better believe that this Jaguars defense is going to do everything in their power to make sure that Hopkins is not going to beat them through the air. And a couple tight ends. Eric Ebron against Buffalo. Ebron's been very good with Andrew Luck, and he'll continue to do so as the season progresses. But Buffalo's been a sleeper defense that has been able to limit some opposing stars that they face throughout this season. Ebron, I know he's going to get that volume of targets. Just be cautious of what he could potentially fail at on Sunday. And then defense to leave on your bench. How about the Ravens? I know they get Drew Brees this week, and it's enticing to start Baltimore, but just because of that explosiveness, they have the playmakers, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Michael Thomas. While it may be a low-scoring game, it's just, I would be careful about starting Baltimore's defense. And if you do, temper your expectations for sure. So there you have it. There is my stardom situm there for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope my information can help you win your fantasy league. I understand how competitive it gets. I'm in a couple leagues myself. But again, I appreciate you taking the time to join me on this Wednesday evening. Don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. And until next Wednesday, take care and God bless.